excellent connection. Great. So I'm just gonna get started. Bam. So it's been volatile, right? It has been, and stream says all targets hit. Well, majority of them did hit. I actually got a little above my target on the S&P and on the QQQ, right? So I'm gonna go and pop that on. I'm gonna dive into cryptos too. They just haven't been as exciting, right? They've been kind of sideways, really boring, and no volatility. And you guys know, more volatility equal more money as long as you're trading right. Now back on like 917. Yeah, moving my chart over real quick. There we go. So back on like 917, I was saying, hey, we're looking at bottom, and we're looking to start making retracement back up towards the 61.8, right? And I said that around that 61.8, we're gonna scale out of longs, and we're gonna look for some hedges potentially. And that wasn't just on the S&P. That was on Apple. That was on Microsoft. That was on eBay. That was on Home Depot. That was on every chart we were playing, right? The market pretty much did the same thing. Did a 61.8 retracement, right? So any chart I look up, it's gonna have done the same thing. Some of these charts are actually above the 61.8, which is bullish. So back to the S&P. Our initial target from last couple of streams was 343. That's 61.8. The QQQ was like 285. Or 287, right? And what happened? Charts gapped way above, went up to 294, all the way up to 297, 298, and then we started seeing that sell off. Now yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, sometime this week, said we're gonna take out 354 puts, 297 puts on these guys. I covered some of the puts earlier on the QQQ, left a couple open, took profit on half today, and yeah, same thing on the S&P. My S&P's expired tomorrow, so I sold them today. Now what's next, right? Hasn't been the easiest time to trade, right? A lot of volatility. We see a lot of people thinking, oh, we're gonna come back down. The perma bears, my perma bear friends think we're gonna come back down. I saw one tweet today saying, oh, we're going back to April lows, March lows. I'm like, you're out of your mind. And I think they're out of their mind. I don't think we're gonna see another meltdown. Not yet, right? Not yet. Let's go ahead and look at S&P futures, just to kind of compare the spot chart to the futures chart. So what can we expect now, right? What can we expect now? Just so I can zoom out so you guys see what we're looking at, right? So this was the big major retracement, right? Back to the upside, right? So we had the sell-off, the crash, the retracement to 61.8, it blew off above. We scaled out, right? Took shorts. Came back down to 61.8, retested it, now we're going back up, right? So looking at futures, it did the same thing. Now, why did I have that smaller fib? Well, if we're going to look for re-entry on them shorts, we're going to, add to 297 puts or buy puts further out, we're going to look for the next 61.8, which would be the 61.8 of the smaller move. That's one thing I'm looking out for. It's kind of why I called that the Apple puts late in the day, right before the close, as a hedge. I have a really big Apple position. It's all calls, and I figured, hedge, because we might see a 61.8, again. So now looking at the ES, right, 34.99, we want to see a close above here. If we don't get this close above here, then we're likely going to continue the downside, right? So, same thing, looking at the S&P, zooming into the S&P, and we're above the smaller retracement, right? This would have been like the session retracement, closed above. Futures are going up. They're actually above the 50, so the futures are sitting like right above 348. If they stay there and we open tomorrow at this level, it's going to be 348, 349. Now, it's very important to go up and close above 349, right? Closing above 349 relative to this move would be the same as closing above 343 relative to the bigger move, right? It's just a bigger retracement on a bigger move. I did get tricked yesterday. Saw some kind of bull flagging action. What's up, Jason? What's up, Uncle? Thought this was kind of bull flagging on the S&P. Then boom, we had that sell-off. But luckily, we had the 354 puts. We had some VIX calls. Sold out the VIX calls, the 22.5s today, and the money sold them. Dumped below. That's good. I still have some 23s that are out another week. Mainly want to go over some charts like Apple, right? Like I signaled that it is doing a little bit of a bull flag. Let's just remove drawings and chart this one from the beginning. As I said, after these sell-offs, right, we were looking for a 61.8 retracement to the upside. And what does that look like? 61.8 to the upside pretty much looks like this, right? Boom. I mean, everything hit target. Everything hit target, guys. eBay, PayPal, Microsoft, Apple, name a chart, it hit target. If it didn't, it's about to. Like Facebook didn't, but we had calls that were lower than the 61.8. So now we're seeing this little bit of a bull flag. Guys, whoever's DMing me on Discord, don't do that when I'm streaming. Unless it's super important. The reason I took out those puts on Apple towards the close is because I was worried about this, right? It's below the 50, and here there was like an intraday, put on a 15-minute, right? There was an intraday 61.8. Now, the Apple play I called was for, it was actually for earnings, right? Like we just want to get a good position now since the market's down. We see a bull flag, so go ahead and position for earnings. If you go up there before earnings, guess what? Take profit and yeah, enjoy. And they were cheap, right? And that's pretty important when we're trading these options, buying on down days when they're cheap. So I was a little hesitant, here, because if we do get a retest of this flag, we do see some of these charts retest, way lower. So with those 121, 120 puts, with a week expiry, if this thing does retest, you can, close out of those puts for a good profit and then let the calls ride. Thanks, Jason. Dude, sick, right? That was a solid play. Selling those calls at the 61.8. That's one thing I was doing. Is sell, right? Monday, Tuesday, it was a sell day, right? We sold the top, for the week, for the day, for 4 days. But, times of volatility like this, where we have a lot of uncertainty, we're going to get stimulus, we're not going to get stimulus, Nancy Pelosi, not Trump, Biden, all this shit's up in the air. Take those profits, scale down, scale out of the market. And then when we see entries and opportunities, we hop back in. That's what I want to cover on Apple. Saw some BTC charts moving around. I still haven't changed my positioning. This has been the most boring period of Bitcoin, right? The most boring period in Bitcoin, my Bitcoin trading period. This kind of reminds me of September, October 2016, where the chart literally did nothing, right? One of these periods. This really reminds me of one of these. And I kind of said this would come, right? Coming out of the correction, right? We've really been in a range for months. So I haven't been, trying to scalp or anything. I do have futures long from 10.1 and 10.5, and I'm looking for 13K. Still, my analysis is still the same from July, right? Pretty much still the same from July. You guys start throwing some tokens my way, right? Start throwing some charts my way. We'll go over them, whether it's crypto or traditional. I don't like that line. Just delete it. So, we're 10,000 is support, 13,000 is resistance until proven otherwise. So I think we're gonna get a touch of that. I was talking to Kevin, right, Gatsby, and Gats and I were talking about what would the next swing on Bitcoin look like, right? If we were to get a breakout and then a fake breakout, like what would that look like? I was telling him that if we get a move to 13, right, and then continuation to 16, but flatten out at 16, then I would expect to move down to like, boom, 8,000, right? And why would I do that? Well, markets generally don't, Bitcoin especially, doesn't rally higher without shaking out everybody. So if we're going to get the pump, the pump before the dump, right, we're going to see a big move up and a retracement, right? Big move up and a retracement. So that's one thing I'm looking for. I don't think we're going to go from here straight to like 30K on, or any big extravagant targets. This chart has been cooking for a long time, right? It's really been cooking for a long time. And now we have all these different resistances that were not there back in 2017, right? Where we had our amazing bull run. These things were tested once, twice, not trying to recoup lost ground. All right, now this is some good charts, man. Thanks for showing them. Okay. Covered BTC. Let's take a look at ETHUSD. I still don't think anything's changed, right? I mean, this chart has been this chart since weeks ago. I think 420, 441, still the target. I'm not gonna look for anything else, right? And it's just, I like trading swings. I might be wrong. We might get stomped out, but hey, we got in, right at 349, 350 for this move, and now we're looking for 420, possibly higher, but that's pretty much it. All right, going over Facebook, Disney, eBay, Tesla. Facebook, our target was 283. Our calls were 275. We were in the money. I said take profit on half, right? When we were getting close to 61.8. I sold half. I wanted to add another. I wanted to rebuy back that half today. I haven't yet. Facebook's one of those trickier ones, man. It really is. It's pretty volatile. It's taken my money a few times. That's why now I'm like super cautious with it. So we filled this gap. We got a gap overhead. I think it's safe to buy back our 275, 1023s because eventually we're going to see this, right? We're going to see that 283, 61.8. And then we have earnings. Earnings are coming up. And that's something people that are thinking a crash is coming are not keeping in mind. Like how is PayPal going to get devalued, if they're still performing, right? Like, how is this chart going to go back down to these lows of... How is it going to go from 203 to 84 if they're still making what they're making? All right, Disney. Man, Disney went pumped and then it dumped. And it's doing a shakeout, right? Markets are shaking everybody out. They want to take your money. They want you to buy. They want to sell you calls when it pumps. They want to buy them back from you whenever they shake you out, right? I don't really trade news much. What I signaled on Disney was pure technical setup. What I signaled on Disney was, it's called an Adam and Eve. Right? And this is what it looks like. And I said this was good for 130. You should probably average down on Disney if they're down. We should probably average down on Disney tomorrow. So this is an Adam and Eve. This is kind of a reversal pattern. It is a reversal pattern most of the time. When you see that, you want to long, right? And we longed here for 130 target. It hit the target the next day on news. News is meant to fuck you guys up, man. Excuse my French, but news is never like a reliable thing. Looking at Walmart. I don't know if you were trading Walmart with us, but then like we longed here, right? This was a flag. And already had a fake out. We longed here, and then the next day news hit, and then there was like TikTok news, and then it sold off, and there was another news, and then it sold off, and it was, so these news sell-offs, I wouldn't think that Disney plays over, right? I don't, especially if indices and futures are gonna still rally. I don't think it's done. And looking at Disney like long term, Disney, I think they own like 70% of Hulu. Right, it's right above this 61.8, right? This is like Bitcoin at 9,000. I mean, technically speaking, it's practically the same thing. This gap is full. I think all gaps are full. It should be good. It should be good. I think so. I think Facebook 1023 is plenty of time. One thing we can do is we can go further out. Like, that's why I called those apples. I don't know if you remember when I called Facebook back here. I called it because of the 61.8 overhead. It was lagging the thing, right? Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. Facebook was the most lagging one, and I knew it was going to hit the 61.8, or at least get up there. We bought targets halfway there. And I also said it was the cheapest FANG play for 1023. And that went from $200 a call to like $800, $900 a call, right? We almost 3x our money on it. That's why I said, hey, like sell half. You sell half, you 3x your money. The rest is basically house money, right? Your initial, you cover double your initial, you doubled your money and then some. So now I think any calls we buy, we want to play earnings, and not necessarily an earnings breakout, but earnings volatility, right? Because we might see things. We're going to see the market try to take everybody's money. I think we're going to see a lot of fake outs to the upside, a lot of fake outs to the downside. So we might see like Facebook shoot up, 282, hit 292, and then a day before earnings, come back down to 258, do this, come back down, and then on earnings just pump. Or we might just see the opposite. But the highest probability target is it's incomplete. 282 is incomplete. So going 282 with the weaker earnings, which is 1029, give it 2 weeks out. I think that's probably the best play. Going further. All right, what did I not cover? Tesla. Tesla did a thing, man. It started going, it faked everybody out, came back down. So, traditionally speaking, being like a classic fib trader, when we start seeing the close above the 61.8, that's bullish, right? As long as the chart is like below 61.8, it's a recipe for wrecked, right? If you go back to my previous streams, my definition of a bear market or of a bearish anything, it's not 20% from all-time high, right? I think that's stupid. I think it's failure to hold the 61.8 off the previous high, right? That would be my definition of a bear market. So, or of a bearish anything. So if something, pumps and then comes down and retraces and doesn't hold 61.8, it's going to crash again, right? And then it comes up, doesn't hold 61.8, it's going to continue down, right? So, biggest example of that, right, is going to be what we saw in Bitcoin for years, for like 2 years. And that's my definition of a bear market. Now, back to that 20% off all-time high, and then, that's bullshit. And I'll go into why I think that's bullshit. But, looking at these, right, 61.8 is my red fib. All right, so we'll look at all these other retracements. So, because we know that one retracement was a 50. So, that's a 61.8, right? It didn't hold. Now, remove drawing. The next one, right? We had a swing high, 61.8, right? Boom, right here. It didn't hold. Broke back down. And, as long as any asset is doing this and is not holding the 61.8, it's not breaking above, right? Didn't even get there, broke down, and then boom, So this was 2 years of these retracements. Back to Tesla, we're kind of, we're rubbing this 61.8. We're rubbing it. So if we're going to get continuation now, if we're going to get continuation, it's going to happen now. If we're going to get some kind of meltdown, it's going to happen eventually, right? But bulls need to defend the 61.8, and so do bears. Now I did take out some calls, right? In case we get a blow off again before the election, I took out some 600 calls. 4 weeks out. I mean, that's pretty risky, but I'm probably gonna sell them, man. I'll sell them at 489. I'll find some lower targets too. So I was looking at Tesla after I made that call, and I'm like, man, I went too far out of the money because I think we can hit 492 and come back down to 418 and just chomp out. So we get above, we get up to 492. I'd sell the calls and I'd be happy and I'd walk away, right? Just because I don't trust it. All right, you guys, BNB, EOS, XRP, BNB, USD. I mean, is XRP still a thing? Man, Ripple. Sorry, I like to rip on Ripple. All right, BNB, man, still bullish. I'm still long. I'm still long on margin. I'm looking for new highs. I'm looking for at least 35. EOS. I don't know, man. Is there a Bittrex chart? Is there a Binance chart? There you go. Okay. I don't see anything particularly sexy about this chart. It hasn't done like liquidity grabs. It doesn't look pre-breakout. Looks wrecked on the BTC chart. You know, if I was a support shorter, I would short it down to 2071. But because I'm not, and I like counter trading liquidity, I'm going to put an alert for 2071. That might be an area of interest for me. All right, XRP. Please tell me it looks better than EOS. It does. I also don't trust XRP, right? It's like the king of fake outs. Anytime you're going to get a rally, you're going to get a sell-off first. So you can't trust any formation on this chart. I can't trust any formation on this chart. Like, I think this is a hodler's token, and hodling is not my game. It's just not. Failed to, went up, failed at the 61. I don't understand this, man. Realistically, if I was, just looking at this chart, I don't know. No comment. But, looking at like XRP, BTC pair, I'd much rather be in BTC or Ether right now over being in something like XRP because they're kicking its ass. It makes no sense to be in one of these charts. What did I want to cover? NIO, right? Is it NIO or NIO? I was never a fan of like the NIO, the crypto token, right? Even though it pumped from like 30 cents to 180 bucks, my old business partner was like a maximalist and he didn't sell the top. I'm just not, anyways, has nothing to do with this. But I'm also thinking this is topped off. I did buy some puts today. I announced me putting my position on NIO. Yeah, looking at this extension, we might touch $30 again, but I'm pretty comfortable with just shorting it, especially being long on a lot of other things, right? Being long on the proven companies, right? And then shorting the speculative one, because we did see like Fastly just get obliterated, right? Like a 30% down candle. DraftKings decimated. I mean, I'm kind of being exaggerating shit, right? But like 27% down candle. So I think if NIO is gonna do something, NIO, it's gonna be soon. If it's gonna tank, right? A lot of these tokens that kind of break this channel, and I'm talking a lot of charts that do this. And let's look at like a real company with real revenues. It's been doing what it's doing for a very right, we are back on. We are back on. Um, so I was comparing these two charts, right? NIO and Walmart, and what I was saying is, I saw a lot of these channel breaks, on last blow off, right? And sure, I pumped for a few days, but like, there's a thing called mean reversion in the stock market where things tend to like go back to the channel, right? And Walmart pumped up and it came back down. Was there a fib there? I don't even think there was a fib there. Arguably yes, right? Arguably yes. So, potentially was this the top before we get kind of a nice pullback on NIO? I think it is. You guys on Facebook haven't been very active, man. All the love and requests have been coming in off YouTube. So hit me with some recommendations, some charts you want me to take a look at. What else? Also, I think GSX, another Chinese company. Man, we should have bought some puts today, man. I don't like putting the bottom of a wedge, but it looks like there's a little bit of support here. So if you go back up to 115, I'm gonna put the buying puts, and I'm talking like January puts on this one. You guys in Discord, you know why I'm we're looking to short this one. All right, what else? You guys want to hit me with any other charts? Covered Apple, Tesla. Let's look at eBay and PayPal since I'm, we kind of positioned in both of them. eBay hit our sell target, right? 155. We went 55 went all the way to 58. And we're retracing back down. I'll answer that. Man, before the BTC CME gap was a thing, before anybody really spoke about the BTC CME gap, I'm gonna drop you a link. And before anybody really watched them, I don't think there's very many gaps underneath and above right now anyway. This was old, but I pretty much predicted the Bitcoin bull run in 2019 using the gaps. And I'm not going to do the same detailed type of analysis. There you go, this one. I'm not going to do the same type of, detailed out analysis now. But now that you say something about it. I told you my perspective on BTC. I don't think gaps or dominance are gonna change what I think's gonna happen, right? I don't give in any tinfoil hat theories, right? I don't, minor capitulation. Everybody wants to sell you a rhetoric, right? Rhetoric traders don't make fucking money. They just don't. Can't trade rhetoric. So looking at eBay, we got to get back above 55, right? The fact that it went up to 58, we took profit on some. I think, buying 55 out for earnings, October 28. I think that's a safe play. Last earnings, we kind of saw a dump, right? But, what happened before last earnings? We had a big move up, then a big move down. So if we get a pre-earnings pump, scale out. Scale out, scale out, scale out. Leave one or two calls for earnings. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't run, hey, house money. I don't know that yet, Jason. I don't know that. Last earnings season, we had some really good flyers and we got clapped a lot. I mean, I had a high burn rate, man. I still managed to double my account, but I burnt through a lot of money holding through earnings, right? A lot of money. I could have quadrupled my account had I not held. Except for a few, it's hard. So we'll figure out when we get there, right? Fucking FedEx, man. Excuse my French, but you know, I think we got in like the day before earnings and it flew, dude. Right? UPS. I still have a UPS earnings play. You know, I have 190 UPS. I'm probably gonna keep buying this because you know it and FedEx are running wild. I think 190 is the next fib. If I do this, fuck, 1 second, one day, right? If I fib this again, I think 190 was like my next target. So I should probably buy some more. I sold my 170s on Monday. I had like a couple of 170s left and they were worth 1,000 a piece. So I sold those. I think, you know, I mean, this can really get moving. You know, unlike Nio, right? This thing is real, right? They're actually delivering products. Yeah, so 190 is my next call because 193 is the next high. You guys in Facebook, nobody's dropping any love, man. All right. Any more? Oh, thoughts on ADA? Thanks for the suggestions. Keep them coming, guys. If I get bored, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'm gonna, you know, go to bed. Thoughts on ADA? Yeah, I think we can hit 13 cents. You know, based on what the markets, well, all markets are doing, unless this was the 61.8. Now I don't like trading. Like, I mean, this is a shit coin, man. This has been around for so long, and it's worth 16 cents, right? Like, 10 cents. Sorry. This looks bear flaggy, right? I'd stay away right now. I just don't know why people take risk on assets like this, right? I mean, short 10 and wait for the extension, right? And the extension there would be, if I was to short 10, I'm not trading it, right? Like I don't need to put my money in something like this. They can just get pumped and dumped, and you know, everything can do that, right? But I mean, based on this formation, we can probably go down to 6 cents without the going back in time, you know, and then maybe try to rally again. Right, looking at Google. Man, I haven't traded Google. I think it's the calls and the puts, the options are super expensive. Gap up, that's bullish, right? But what's the first thing I'm gonna look for, right? A 61.8. This looks like a 50, just eyeballing it. Oh my god, I'm so good, right? This is a 50. So we're looking for 1609. We might fill this gap first, but I think 1609 is the next high probability target. Earnings are on the 29th. There's a lot of S&P and tech earnings on the 29th. So, you know, people, I don't know why I don't know what to call them, these perma bears think that, you know, market's just going to melt down again. You got earnings coming up in a few days, man. Like, you know, or we're just going to sell all. So, yeah, I think looking at something like Google and seeing that Google hasn't 61.8 yet, indices are going to go back and we're going to see another 297. We're going to see Monday's highs. We're going to see them again in the next 2 weeks before earnings, especially since, you know, Google hasn't 61.8, Facebook hasn't, and a few of the others. I don't know if Netflix has. Let's look at that. And I'll go back to indices to wrap this up. Okay, Netflix has. Definitely has. Last stream I said Netflix could probably go up to 600, right? 607. And somebody was like, what? I'm like, yeah. So let's be more conservative, right? 583, 596. Let's see if there's gaps below. I don't know. It's doing a bull flag, man. It's like, it's flagging. It's going to run. I think it is. Real company. Okay if this pumps, right? Not like Nio and, you know. All right, fam. What do we got? Anything else? So back to indices. I'm gonna pull up this chart from my notes in Discord too. Give me just a moment. Gotta find my personal notes. I know, Stella. I know. You guys hear my dog like grunting? She not happy. So, where was this chart? Right. So I kind of pulled this fractal out from 2018. I said, hey, we're probably gonna see some kind of double top at the 786, right? And we did ring it once. We came back down. Keep this in mind, right? Keep that chart in mind. And let's do like the daily. And looking at this, we can possibly, most likely, bet that we're going to see that 354 again, right? Especially with, you know, some of the stocks we saw that have not hit that 61.8. So we're probably going to see that. And if like things get running again, then we might end up going higher. And that's why I signaled some out of the money calls, right? And boom, like that was our target, broke above, filled the gap. You know, the QQQ, when I said, hey, I'm closing out of my puts today, you know, it was on one of these candles, on one of these down candles. Good. I did that because Apple was flagging, right? Apple's 61.8 gave us the top on the QQQ. It's 10% of the Q. So, like, looking at this chart, let's kind of put them on the hourly for like the skeptics out there. This candle right here, when Apple hit 126, it was 297.99 on the QQQ, and there's actually this candle that I sold out and put it, and then added here on the put. But you see a shooting star, right? And the QQQ exactly top there, right? So when this thing did a bull flag, I'm like, hey, we're gonna close out of these puts. So if you're trading both of these, right, this is 10% of that. So keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. It's gonna keep you really dialed in the zone. All right, Link USD. I still have my futures position, man. Like, I still have my futures position on Link. I think it's bottomed. And I'm probably going to get asked about Link every time I stream. And I'm going to highlight this now. That big boring period we saw in BTC, we're probably going to do one of those on Link. Maybe. Possibly. As for the 61.8, it's not holding it like I wanted it to, right? It was. Mother effer. So it's below. So let's look at 10.3 for support and 11 for resistance. I think, you know, if this gets up above, then we're going to probably see that big extended boring period, because that's what we're seeing on crypto right now, right? Like zero excitement, zero anything happening. Let's look at this move. Yeah, so I wouldn't be too worried about it, right? I mean, if it did the same thing, either that or we might be gearing up for a higher move. Once again, you know, paying attention to those support resistance levels. I highlighted 10.3 and 10.36. You know, what you need to do is do this. Right? It hits 10.3, add. Right? Don't sell low. You know, if it breaks like 9.96, then I'd be out, right? But like, I mean, looking at the BTC chart, I think it was kind of bull flagging on one of the time frames. Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's kind of channeling, flagging. It's above resistance. Bam. I'm still bullish on DOT, you know. Did I get stopped out? Did it ring my stop? I don't think it did. Looking at this like daily chart, I'm pretty bullish. Right, this is bullish. This is a falling wedge. It's not like being bullish up here, right? Or being bullish up here. You know, we're going for 4.8. It's 61.8 right there. So it's not like at the top of a pump or buying a wick. Or it's just a consolidation pattern. Or we getting in fairly nicely. Alright guys, thank you all for tuning in. Stream was good. I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. You guys, if you're not on Discord, if you're not in Discord, click that link, smash the like button, or dislike. We had a disliker last stream. I don't know why. Maybe I hurt your feelings. Don't care. But smash that like button, share the video, join Discord if you're not in there. We basically cover these charts. I know, man. You know, Money Monday, and Monday was good. If anybody got in the stream Sunday, and if they got in the Discord off the stream and joined us for Money Monday, like we shorted the top, man, and it was announced to everyone. Anyway, yeah. So hop in a Discord. Maybe we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Open up chat, at least maybe just one channel to everybody before the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, it is. So that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Trade safe. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Follow.